Hi, Mario.
Hello, you're also in Greece?
No, I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know. What is it, 77 today?
Yeah, 77A1. Yes. He started a few lines down.
Oh, the new chapter, right?
Not quite, just before it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't been able to join because I do work still,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, it's an odd time. Yeah, it's true.
Why doesn't he get up at 6 in the morning and do it then?
Well, he's 10 hours ahead. So.
So he should get it. Well, when he was in Israel, the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same time. Yeah, 10 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 9 hours. Yeah, anyway, it's like he's doing it right before he goes to sleep.
Yeah. I thought he didn't have to sleep.
I'm surprised he actually sleeps. You're right.
Yeah.
He's like a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sad about Yarkoni. Terrible.
What's matter?
Yarkoni passed away. Did you see there's a
No.
Oh yeah, he passed away today. There was a comment on the app on the
on Yavne? On Young
the Daf
Israel?
Yomi. In the Daf Yomi. Johnny posted it.
Who posted it, Johnny?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. I spoke to him a couple of months ago. I mean, I know he was sick, but he was joking around, and but I guess you can't beat it.
Oh, they're burying him in Israel.
Yeah. What is Ernie?
What is Ernie? He said he was going to be here now.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have inspections for 3 years. Now they're killing me.
Oh.
I have 6 ongoing inspections. 6. And the inspectors want to find things because they want to.
Of course, generates money.
No, they want to generate points for themselves. They don't make money on that.
Well, you don't bribe them?
I try not to.
Terrible. I see now that they want to extend the that you can't raise the rents. They want to extend it even longer. Are they crazy?
I don't think they will do it because they're going to have a revolution. Fuck, this guy told me he was closing the case and he didn't. Fuck him. Well, I have to give him a call. He's a nice guy, but I told him, are you closing the case? Because this last guy is a pain in the neck. Anyhow, I'll do the job, but he says, yeah, I'm closing it, but he didn't. Maybe he only got lost on the way to the forum. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
What was it called?
I know Zura Mostel was in it.
No.
A funny thing happened on the way to.
Yeah, not Zero Mostel. It's the other guy, the guy who made the movie, no?
Was the Jewish guy.
Yeah, of course. He was married to that actress who was not Jewish.
Right. Yeah, Mel Brooks. You mean Mel Brooks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just watched last night Young Frankenstein. I saw it again. You ever see it?
Oh.
Young Frankenstein. Hilarious. It's so funny.
Yeah, I saw many. No, yesterday I finished watching Suits.
Oh yeah, how is it?
Great. But it was 128 chapters.
128.
I mean, I went to bed in the last 3 weeks at 12:30, 1 o'clock every night.
Just watch it. You're very dedicated.
It's very, it's like a drug, but it was very good, very well done.
Yeah, it's a good show.
What?
It's a very good show.
Yeah, you saw it?
A few episodes.
Yeah.
I just texted Ernie. What's going on here?
Because if it can't, then I'll have to.
Right.
I have to watch the video after. Oh, he's singing
Signing
in.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, singing in. Anybody else been in the shir apart from you the last few days?
No.
Well, the one doesn't know it is now for sure is Alan.
Oh, he doesn't check his emails and stuff?
I
No.
send him text separate, but I didn't now. I can send him now and see if he wants to.
Okay, yeah. See if he's around.
Hello, Harold.
Hello.
Hi, Mario.
Hi, Ernie.
Hi, good to see you.
Oh, there he goes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, where are you now, Ernie?
We're in a town called Ioannina, and we were in Corfu. The island of,
Corfu. Oh, how's Corfu?
it was beautiful. It was really beautiful there. There's an old town, and we had nice tours. So
Ernie, no Santan?
Santa.
Santan. You don't have a Santan yet.
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, it's warm, but I wear a very broad brimmed hat. I want
Okay.
sun damage.
Okay.
Oh, so you're near Albania.
We were very close to. By the way, you have to take a ferry there, and 15 fire trucks joined our ferry on the way back, and they're all about 30 firefighters from Bulgaria,
Oh.
which is right next door. And
yes.
there were fires in Corfu. We didn't see fires, but they had been on the island for 8 days, and they came back with us on the ferry. Very interesting speaking with them.
Wow, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Corfu, the Nazis deported 2,000 Jews from this Eckveld corner. I mean, this is the farthest island you can imagine, and they found these Jews and deported them to Auschwitz. 3 days after the day.
Crazy.
The Allies land day. The war is lost, and he's busy scouring for Jews.
For Jews, yeah.
Okay, so we're on Ayin Zayin Amid Aleph. That's where we left off yesterday. Hitfu utnu getli ishti. The Mishnah said that if a person said, write a get and give a get to my wife if I don't come back within 12 months. So if kisvu, if it was written within the 12 months, even though they gave it after the 12 months, we said the get was possible because he had commanded to do both after 12 months. So the T'nai wasn't fulfilled. Armor of Yem Ravashi, Lamer Ksav Rabbi Yossi Ksav get Kosav get al T'nai kosher. Maybe why do we say it's possible? Maybe that if the ksiva of the get alone is kosher versus low. Well, oilo mem l'chasher pasul. They don't change their opinion. They say it is possible. Shani Acham Midavali Lemeimar, he should have said, Im lo basi, if I don't come to Toch Shnei Masar Chodesh, Kisvut Nu. That to emphasize that the Ksiva also only should be done if he doesn't come back. Shouldn't be done sort of, he gave a deadline. Wait until I come back 12 months. If I don't come back by 12 months, then give it. Then write it and give it. What Mecha takes that they should write it before the 12 months. And rather, he said, Omar kisfu utnuim lo basi. Shahachi Kamar, this is really what he's saying in essence. Kisfu me'achshav. You can write it from now. Utnuim lo basi. So on that condition, we would say the get might be good. Rabbanans make sort of a low plug. We make no difference. Lo shnahachi, it's going to be possible. I'm sorry. Low battery, but I think this should last. Terrible. If the person said, give a get la'achar shavua, which refers to 7 years, or la'achar shana, or at the end of this Shemitah cycle, or la'achar shana, which he means a month after the end of the year, or la'achar chodesh, which means Shabbos, which is like a week. That's what the Mishnah said. So, if he said la'achar Shabbos, what if he says give the get after Shabbos? What's the din? So, you give it on Sunday? When do you give it? Yosef Rav Zera Kamei Ravasi Amila Ravasi Kamei Rav Yechim Kamar. That what is meant by the terminology Shabbos, it means either Chad b'Shabbos Sunday, Trei b'Shabta, which is Monday, Tloser, that's considered Boser Shabta. That's considered after Shabbos.
Is that because it's the first market day?
No, because we're going to see the first 3 days after Shabbos is still connected to the previous Shabbos. That's why there's a din. You can make Havdalah even as late as Tuesday. The 3 days before the next Shabbos is sort of connected to the next Shabbos. Arba, Chamsha, Umali Shabta, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is, we would use the word Kame Shabta. Whenever I'm going to do something prior to Shabbos, you would fulfill it if you did it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Either one of those days would suffice for what it means prior to Shabbos. Kame Shabbos. Tanya, we bring another brisa. Rabbi Yomer, if a person said to do something la'achar haregel, after a yontif, well, we have 3 yontifs, right? Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot. What he means is shloishim yoim. So he can fulfill the t'nai. He does it 30 days after whatever that yontif was. Nafik Rav Chia drasha. Rav Chia announced this halacha. He did it publicly. Mishmei de Rebbe, because the original halacha was said in the name of Rebbe, v'kalsuah, and they praised him. But he did the drasha Mishmei de Rabbi. He didn't say Rebbe. He mentioned other people, that it wasn't just the Das Yochav Rebbe, the local. They didn't praise them. So here, it seems to be a proof that the halacha was not like Rebbe, and therefore the Chachamim did not agree with Rav Chia when he said the halacha was like a stam. However, the Shulchan Aruch paskins, Misha Amar Imlo Avala Achar Regal Kisvu Get Lishti says, if I don't come back until after Yom Tiv, write me again. Lo Yichtu V'Yidnu Ad Sheyavru Chamisha Osar Yom Lachar Regal. Shouldn't be written until 15 days. So the halacha is not like Rebbe that said you have to wait 30 days. Halach like the Chachamim that says 2 weeks, 15 days. Haralach Misha Agzu, Haralach Misha Agzu, Haralach Misha Agzu. We finished the 7th parak. Now we're going to start parak Shmini Hazorik. This is a known halacha. We know a husband has to give a get to his wife and give it to her so that it's in her possession. The basic way is to put it to her in her hand. The Torah says put it biyadah. But this mission is going to deal with other methods to give it to the wife. So, Hazori get li ishto, she owns her own house, or she owns a courtyard, and you throw the get, and she's there physically. Now the Gemara will ask the question, does she have to be there or not? It's her chutzner. Can her chutzner be kona'et even without her being there? But the Mishnah seems to say, he b'soch beis or b'soch chatzera. And you know it's better right there. What was that?
How does she know that it's right?
But remember, parents, a woman is divorced even bal korcha, even against her will. A woman cannot be makadesh. You can't give kiddushin to a woman without her will. Be makadesh means she says, I don't want to. You can't force her. But a woman can be divorced against her will. Now, that changed in the year 1000 with Rabbeinu Gershom. We know Rabbeinu Gershom that you're not allowed to have 2 wives. In the Ashkenazi world, Rabbeinu Gershom made a takana that Ashkenazi men cannot have, the Torah doesn't restrict how many wives you can have. But Rabbeinu Gershom, you can only have 1 wife. There were other takanas that were made by Rabbeinu Gershom. One of them was that you may not divorce your wife without her agreeing. Midoraisa, you can divorce a woman against her will. So even if she does, it's deposited in her chutzner, she's a divorced woman, as we're going to see. So that's why there's a halachic problem. If a woman is in a coma, if a woman has lost her mind, the husband can't divorce her. So how does he get remarried? So there's something called heter meir rabbanim. When you've heard that there are 100 rabbis signing on a document to permit, that's what they're permitting. They're permitting to go against the cherem of Rabbeinu Gershom. Rabbeinu Gershom says you may not divorce her again. It's really a heter meir rabbanim to marry a second wife, even though he's still married. It doesn't counteract, because she can't accept again. They don't really change that. They just allow him to marry another wife. So Azar get liishto v'hibesoch beiso besoch chatzeres harezu megureshes. It's considered as if he put it in her hand. Putting in her house or putting in her chutzner is just the same, accomplishes the same thing. Now, becomes more complicated if the wife is standing in the husband's house and he throws it at her. Zarka law, besoch beiso while they're in his house. O besoch chatzero. Afilu hu ima b'mita. Even they're in bed together. Eina megureshes. Because it's in his reshus. She doesn't have a reshus there, belongs to him. However, if he puts it l'soch, even though they're both his house, but he puts it in her, right to her, l'sochecha means in her chest, or l'soch kalso, or let's say has a personal purse or a bathroom. I mean, it's the megureshes, even though they're in his house. Those things are considered as if he put it in her hand. So first of all, mononymy. How do we know that if a get is put in a woman's chutzner or bias, it's considered as if you put it in her hand? Because the pasuk says, "V'nosan biyada," you shall put it in her hand. Eli yada. Fine. That might tell me only her hand. Gaga, her roof. Chatzera, her courtyard. The karfefa is like a garage or back area. Minayin. But look at v'nosan mikoma. The word v'nosan is a general statement of a nesina. No matter how you give it, We don't care whether you give it in her hand, you give it in her chutzer, it works. Kanya, namahochi gabi ganav. There's a baraisa similarly about a thief. The pasuk says, "Im himasei timatzei biyado agneva." If Anav steals something and you find the stolen object in his hand, so that might be yado eli ella biyado. Maybe he's only considered a ganef if you catch him red-handed. Mamish. That means you catch him with this stolen good in his hand. We know that if it's found begago chatzer v'karfefo, that you find the stolen object in his chutzer or his roof, that he's still called a ganef. Minayin tamud lomer he mosei simotze mikom. Wherever you find it, that's why the Torah doubled. He mosei simotze. Just say umotze. Why double? Okay. Now, tzricha. Whenever the Gemara learns tzricha, it just taught me l'chura two dinim that seem to be the same. The concept that yada or yado doesn't always necessarily dafka mean his hand. It means his possession, his property. So learn it in one place, learn it by get, and I'm going to learn it by ganef, or teach it in the Torah by ganef, and I'll learn it by get. Why do I need the Torah to waste its psukim and write it again by both places? That's whenever you see tzricha, that's what the Gemara is doing. And the Gemara answers, the Yashminon, if you'd have only written this din by get, because you have a special din that a woman is divorced even against her will. So therefore, in the Sina, no matter what, works. A ganef, if something falls into his pocket, and then we find it a block away, and that's Shimon's, you stole it. You're not a ganef unless you intended to steal it. If there's no ratzon, there's no ganef. And therefore, in that case, I would think aim alone. Maybe there, he's only a ganef if you find it in his hand. So we have to be taught. That no matter where you find it. And the Iyashminon, maybe if the Torah would have only written it by ganef, there's a special fine that the Torah gave regarding that. On the Geneva, we punish him. I'll get aim alone. Maybe in a chalabi, we would say that the get does not have a chalois unless it's actually in his hand. So tzricha, I had to be taught the dinim in both cases. Chatzeh. Now, an obvious question that the Gemara is going to grapple with here: when a woman gets married, she doesn't really have independent property in halacha. For example, she's given fields by her father. That's called nichsei maluk. They belong to her. She comes into the marriage. So the din is the Baal is allowed to take payros from the nichsei maluk. The gufa karka belongs to her, but she can't sell it. As long as the Baal is alive and is eating payros, she has no right to sell it because kinyan payros is kinyan aguf tami. So, and if you try to give anything that a woman earns belongs to the husband, that's a t'nai in the ksuba. The fact that her wages go to the husband has to provide mazonos, food for his wife. There's a reciprocal relationship throughout the ksuba because he has to redeem her from pirates. So he has another right of hers. There's many reciprocal financial relationships structured like that in the ksuba. So the Gemara says, we know that a get only works if I give it to her. Well, if I put it in her chotzer, or if I put it in her bias, whatever she owns, her husband owns. So how does it ever transmit to her ownership? Masha konsa isha kona baila. whatever, if her father tried to give her something, really the husband owns it. So what does she have independent? Rabbi Elazar explains. The case of law, dinu dvorim ein li b'nechsayich. He wrote a star that I have nothing to do with these assets. You just got these assets from your father. Dinu dvorim ein li b'ch. I withdraw my hand from it. So how can he withdraw? The Gemara now seems to think that this happens after they got married, and he already has it. He can sort of step away. The Gemara is going to prove that you can't step away from an asset. That's simple. Atanya. Let's say you are in a partnership with a partner in a business venture, a field. That was the basic business venture in the time of Chazal. And let's say it's not going well. You're losing money. You want to get out of it. And you want to say, Dirut Vor mainly al Tadazu. I'm withdrawing my ownership from this. Ainly Asik Ball. I want nothing to do with this. Once you have a partnership and you a part owner, you can't just walk away from it. So therefore, the Gemara is challenging. The same thing when a husband is, just because he wrote Dinu Dvarim, you're already a shutaf with your wife. So Dvei Rav Yanai explains, because of love oda arusa. Of course, in the time of Chazal, there was a two-step in marriage. You gave her kiddushin. She's a wife. If someone is mezana with her, they're put to death. But she doesn't get mizonos yet. He doesn't go to her funeral if he's a Kohen. That only happens after Nesuin, after they have chuppah. So when they're only connected through kiddushin, when they're over. Oh, there's George. Who else is there? Johnny. Okay.
Finally could get on.
Nice, George. So if it's only that if at the time that they have kiddushin, then before her assets comes under his domination, he says, I don't want anything to do with your assets. So then he's allowed to withdraw them because they never came into his possession. So that's what he does. And therefore, this chutzner that he throws the get in had belonged to her 100%. That's why she could be divorced through that action. Kediver Rav Kahana, Sham Rav Kahana, Nachla Bala Lo Adam Imakom Acher. Person gets a certain piece of land, not through Yerusha. Adam Masna Love Shaloy Yarshana. He can make it tonight. I don't want it. As before it comes into his possession, he can say, I don't want this. Kidarav, Damarava, Haoimer EFC Bitakanas Chachamim Gonzu. So these Takanas Naksuba were made for his benefit. The fact that whatever the wife earns, he gets it, but on that basis, he has to provide mizonos. Let's say he says, I don't want that takana. Shoymin lo. Let's say the wife's a neurosurgeon, makes a fortune of money. She can decide, I don't need your mizonos. I'm going to keep my masiyadayim. So they have the right, they negotiated beforehand, to reject whatever benefits accrue to them in the ksub. And my kigonzu, what's kigonzu? Kiravun amarab, dam ravun amarab. Yechola isha shetarmer labayla any nizonis ve'eni oisa. A woman who has a very high-paying job can say, "Listen, you keep your mizonis. I'm going to keep my ma'asiyadayim." Okay, so the ksuba is really meant for a woman's benefit. It's not meant to harm her. And it's very proof is right here. Because if she can make more money to stay out of the ksuba, Chazal allow it. Now, Rava has a different teretz to this issue of, what do you mean? How can you divorce her by throwing in her chotzer? So Rava Omar, a different reason. Atu yoda milo kanyule? The Baal? Means, I thought you told me that her husband gets the Maisi Yadayim. If he gets the Maisi Yadayim, how can you put the get in a wife's hand and it be considered like it's hers? If he benefits from everything, so obviously the word Yadayim, something else happens here. Gita v'yoda boin ke'echad. The moment the get hits her hand, she's a free woman, and she's a dependent from him. And her independent hand and the get hit simultaneously, and therefore it belongs to her. Hachanami, by a chotzer, throwing the get into a courtyard, gita v'chatzera boin ke'echad. The get hits the floor of the chotzer, and at that moment, she's divorced, and therefore the chotzer is hers, separate from her husband's. Rava had a problem with Yad the Isha Kakashale. What kind of problem? He the Kanile, the Maisi Yadeh, Yad the Gufa Mikonile. That's not a problem, says Ravashi. The Maisi Yadeh, what her hands earn, but her hand isn't coined to the husband. So how did Rava respond to that? Amalei Rava, Yada Evika Koshalei. What about the hand of an Eved Kanami? His hand in a Kanami is koine. Now, Lamanda Omar, that an Eved goes free b'shtar al-yidei atzmo, that is given to him directly. What do you mean? How did that work? Yad Eved ki yad Rabodam. How would an Eved cannot ever be freed if the hand of the Eved belongs to the husband? So there as well. Ela certainly Yado boin the Gita of Yado boin ke'echad. Chanami Gita v'chatzei boin ke'echad. A star shikha for Eved Kanani is also called a get. So the same svara there works. Just like we say, the moment the divorce hits the woman's hand, she becomes free, and therefore her yad becomes her own. Same thing happens to an Eved Kanani. Harushkiv Mara. There was a person on his deathbed. The cause of Lagita Litvisu Bahadi Pani Demali Shabt. He wrote a get for his wife, Ben Hashmash's Erev Shabbos. Lo Yispik Lemisfula, but he didn't have a chance yet to give her. Lamachar Takaf Le Alma. He got much sicker on Shabbos. He couldn't walk to give it to her. Osla Kamed Rava. They wanted to ask her, what should we do? What was going on here? This must have been a case where this guy didn't have children. He didn't want his wife to fall to Yibum. So he wanted her to be a divorced woman, not an Eisha Siege, when he dies. So there would be no Yibum. So how does he get to her? Be kona to your wife. Let's say the get was sitting on this table. So be kona to your wife this table. And let's say it was in a different room. So she goes in the room and actually closes the door. She closes the door, and that act of closing the door is techazek. It's like a ma'aser chazaka. Means when you buy a field, it's not just enough to give money. You have to do an act of improvement, like putting a fence around it. So the same thing, like closing the door, she'll get the makom, and she gets the get. Where do we see this? This not. No, I'll get there. Oporetz kol shuhu. You fenced in a opening in a field, even a little bit, harezu chazak. So that's a chazaka for you to acquire it. I'm like reviewing Rava. Why should this help? Baila. I mean, what are you giving her? Whatever you give her belongs to the husband. Rava was embarrassed that he paskin shalokadim. L'sofi gloi milsa sharusa havi. It turns out when they looked at the facts, she wasn't really a Nisuin wife. She's only a wife with Kiddushin, who doesn't, there is no Mashakana Baila, Mashakana Isha Kana Baila. However, I see Paskin correctly. In Mabba Nisua, Arusa, we don't say the same thing by a Kiddushin woman. Her yad is not like her husband. Hadam Rava, Enachanami, Rava changed his mind. Loshna Arusa, Loshna Nisua, Gita V'Chatver Ban Kecha. So they make a low plug type of din that they get going into the chutz of the woman becomes hers no matter what, whether she was Nisuin, whether she was only heirs. On Rava Meikara. So Rava had said this already. Kiyam Rava Asoy Maisa on Rava Rava said this din before this Maisa happened. Then we said V'hi B'soch Beisa. The Mishnah seemed to imply that the woman had to be in the chutzner or in the bayis when you threw the get at her. Aber ula, v'hu shomeres b'chutzner beisa uvad chatzera. She has to be there. But Rishon Amar no, afilu hi b'tver v'chatzer b'tzipori. If she was in a different city and the chutzner a different city, it works. Hi b'tver v'chatzer b'tver megureshes. We don't paskin like that. The Shulchan Aruch and the Rambam paskin that she has to be there. She has to be there. Freit the Gemara, the Mishnah says befeirush, she has to be there. How can you say she doesn't have to be there? Hachi kamer, v'hi kamisha b'soch beis, v'hi kamisha b'soch chatzera. Even though she's in a different physical location, it's considered as if she's there. Why? The kiva the chatzar mishtameres l'daita he. Her chatzar is protecting things that she has in the chatzar, and she wants that to be protected. So therefore, miskareshes. So maybe let us say that they're arguing the following yisod. The marsar chatzar mishum yado israbi. Chatzar acquiring in the get is based on the comparison to her hand. Umarsar chatzar mishum shlichus israbi. That we know a din, the woman can appoint a shaliach to pick up her get. So in essence, chotzer is like her shaliach. So what do? We say it like, is it her yad or is it shlichus? What says no, it's nothing to do with it. Everybody holds that the chotzer is acquiring it because of her yad. Has to be close. She doesn't have to be physically there. The other holds, no. The yod is attached to her. What you put in a woman's hand, she watches that. If a chotzer is watched, but she doesn't know what's going on there, that would not work as a chotzer. Person threw a get at his wife. Have a kaima b'chotzer. The woman was there. Ozil gita toch the nafal bepisla. There was a piece of wood in the room with her, and it fell on the piece of wood. Amar Rav Yosef Chazina. Iavi arba amis al arba amis. If this piece of wood was 4 by 4 amis, it carves out its own independent rishus, separate from the room. And therefore the woman is standing in the room. So if it fell on this table is arba by arba amis, and she was in the room, she would not be divorced. The elo, now let's say it's smaller than arba by arba, then everything is in one, it's not its own rishus. And therefore, if you throw it, well, I don't care where it landed, she would be megureshes. B'mayaskina. What are we talking about? What court? Whose courtyard is this? If it's her courtyard, who cares if it's arba amis? Both belong to her, so she should be misgarish. We're talking about his chutzner. So even if it was not arba ba'arba and a separate rishus, it belongs to him, right? Kilave arba amis ma'av. Who cares? And why she should be divorced? It's remaining in his property. So lotzricha de ushla makom. He loaned her a place in this chutzner in order that the get, she should be going to the get through the place he loaned her. The chad makom mushli inshi. People loan to another person one portion in a chutzner. Trei makom is loy mushli inshi, but two different makomis a person would not loan. So if it landed on a rishus by itself, dalad al dalad, so that's a separate rishus. He gave her a rishus where she's standing, and then there's this other rishus. So she would not be divorced because of that. The lo amar in this din we only say, ella lo gavo asara, as long as the place where it landed was not 10 tefachim high. Al gavo asara apagav de lo avi arba ames. Even if it was not 4 by 4 ames, it's considered a separate rishus. Like we know in Shabbos, it becomes a rishus in itself once it's 10 ames high, 10 tefachim high. And the law amar el the leslay shem lavoy. It doesn't have its own, like this is a coffee table. It has a special name. But in islay shem lavoy, if it landed on something that has an independent name, so avagav shelo gavo asara, the avagav de lo arba ames, it's considered rishus la'atzma, and the woman would not be divorced with such a get if it landed on that independent bunch. Okay, gentlemen, in Los Angeles, tomorrow we're going to learn at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 a.m., because I'm going to teach her at 6 p.m., which is 8 a.m. in the morning.
8 a.m.
Okay?
Got it. Go ahead. Thank you.
Shabbos, of course, I can't. I'm going to teach here at night, but there'll just have to be a recording of that. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Thank you.